Welcome everyone, you are listening to and perhaps watching Hot Sauce Sports. Sorry, not Sauce for Work on the Hot Sauce Sports Network. I'm your host, Pease Del Reese. Joining me is Terry Tam. How's it going, buddy?
Awesome. And apparently I am mentally challenged.
Yeah, I saw that. What was that about? It was your Redskins pick?
Well, the
Washington football team.
Sorry.
Washington.
Oh my God, I can't believe I did it.
Washington R words. So I did my NFC East preview, and I'm not really high on the football team. I mean, listen, they do have a lot of good pieces. I like, Gibson. I like McLaurin. Like, there's a lot of good. Chase Young, I think he's the best player in the division, like overall. But like, I'm not huge on. I don't think they're that good, especially with Fitzpatrick and Heineke in there. It's like, what am I expecting? I think this division is going to be so tight that they're just not going to be able to come out, and so that's all it is.
I think it's going to be closer to last season than we think it is, even with Dak's return and all that. I think it's going to be just a tight division. I will say that a lot of football people who are a lot smarter than I am, like Dominic Foxworth, for example, last year, he was one of the guys saying the Redskins are a quarterback away from being a legitimate contender. But with Ryan Fitzpatrick, wouldn't you say they're still a quarterback away?
That's the thing is, like, everybody's saying, oh, it's Fitzpatrick, like Fitzmagic. Fitzmagic only does well when he's not the starter and he just comes in and does whatever he needs to do.
And like, he's great for fantasy, but he makes a ton of mistakes. For a guy who went to Harvard. Like, I get how smart he's supposed to be, but he keeps throwing the ball to the wrong guys.
But yeah, so I predicted them about 4-13, and then some guy wrote, "You people are mentally challenged." To where I responded, "You people." What do you mean, you people?
What do you mean, you people?
So
and he's like,
did you actually do like a true schedule analysis on them, or did you just pick a number?
No, I did it. Like, I looked at their schedule and I said, "There's no way they can win more than 2 games in this division."
Let's do it.
And
Let's
then
go one by one.
We're gonna do it right now.
On air.
All right, on air. We got all 18 weeks. We're gonna go through here. So week
7.
1, Chargers.
Loss.
Yeah.
Week 2, Giants.
Loss.
Week 3, at the Bills.
Loss.
Week 4, at
That's a
the
rough
Falcons.
Falcons. That's one of the wins I gave them out of the division. I'll give them
I
a
think
win.
the Falcons are going to be terrible.
Awful.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give them a win there.
All right, week 5, Saints.
Loss.
Week 6, Chiefs.
Loss.
Yeah.
Week 7, at Green Bay.
A loss.
Week
No
8.
Rodgers. No Rodgers maybe, but with Rodgers, loss.
Week 8, at Denver.
Loss.
Week 9 is a bye. Week 10, Buccaneers.
Loss.
Week 11, at Panthers.
Win.
Week 12, Seattle.
Loss.
Week 13, at Raiders.
That's a tough one. That was like I put them in like the thing is they're good. They're gonna match up well with a lot of teams, but I don't think they'll be able to get it done. They need to be able to score. I don't think they can score. I'm gonna say loss there too.
All right. Week 14, Cowboys.
Loss. Naturally.
Week 15, at Eagles.
That's a loss too.
Week 16, at Cowboys.
Loss.
Week 17, Eagles.
That's a win because they're at home.
And week 18, at Giants.
I'm gonna say win there.
So how many did you count? I didn't count.
4.
You should be counting. 4.
I counted 8 for myself. Like I think they're going to win the games.
I had Falcons, Panthers, Giants, and Eagles at the end of the season.
But like, so my thing is, I wouldn't be surprised if they win 4 games. I wouldn't be surprised if they win 8. And if they win 10, I'd be like, oh, that's a nice little season for them. You know what I mean?
And you know what? Listen, I'll give them credit. Like Broncos and the Raiders, those are winnable games for them. Maybe the Saints.
They'll probably split the Giants, split the Eagles, right? Like,
yeah.
I don't think they'll beat the Cowboys. If Dak's fully healthy, I don't think they're going to beat the Cowboys twice. I don't think they'll beat the Cowboys. Sorry, I don't think they'll beat
the Cowboys twice. No.
So Terry, you probably have them at like 2-3 guaranteed wins, and then like 4 games that are like coin flips almost, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
I had them about 5 games that I think they'll win handily, and then not handily, but 5 games I expect them to win, and then 3 games are like maybe upset, maybe, you know what I mean, like those 50-50 games. That's how I have them at 8.
Yeah, they have some very clear losses on their schedule. Let's just say it that way.
Yeah, for sure.
They do.
I have the strangest thing. I just got a text. I'm sorry. I get easily distracted. You guys have girlfriends. I have a wife. So you guys know what it's like when you're living with somebody, you make certain concessions, whether it be about sharing space in your bathroom or closets or whatnot, or what it is to do on a Friday night. I'll be at the Christian Dior museum exhibit at the McCord Museum because that's apparently what we're doing on Friday night.
So you're exhibiting fashion, like clothes and stuff?
Apparently, yeah.
All right.
My wife used to be involved in the fashion industry, so she gets very excited by these things. So we're. My question is, can I show up under the influence?
100%.
Eagle, should I show up under the influence?
I would be blasted out of my mind.
I'm very clearly going to. Sorry, Terry, what were you saying?
I'd be blasted out of my mind going in there.
Yeah, I think that's my plan as well.
I'd be like super high.
I'd be worried though because there may be a lot of like colors and fabrics that
I can't see the colors.
No, you know what? That's a good point. Yeah, you're good.
I'm
You're
fine.
good. I was gonna like worry for like a psychedelic experience where it's like, whoa, the colors and everything.
Not to mention, Eagle, you and I went to see a movie this summer.
True.
And I was very heavily medicated, so to speak.
Which movie?
I was in it.
It was the Flag Plus football related.
Oh,
production.
you went to that piece?
Absolutely. Team play.
How was it? How was it?
Better than I thought. So Rachel Nichols has been let go of from ESPN. The Jump was canceled by ESPN, and of course, Twitter is throwing stuff back and forth about why this happened. I have a very specific theory about how and why it happened, but I want to get you guys' thoughts, and then I'll tell you guys what I think it is, and we'll discuss. We'll discuss what we think it's is possible, why it is that it happened. Terry, first of all, I think we all know Rachel Nichols landed on her feet. There's not anyone who's as qualified as she is. You know what I mean? So she'll be fine. Fox or CNN, somebody will pick her up. But for now, she's been let go. What are your theories as to why? The internet, of course, is doing the whole, this is an overcorrection because of the perceived racial comments and so on and so forth. I'm going to go on and say it. I'll explain why later. I don't think it's specifically that, but I'll let you go ahead.
Was she let go, or was she just like removed from certain positions? Like, is she still an employee of ESPN?
Oh, so you're asking if she did if they did the ESPN thing, is just take away all of her work and hope she quits.
Yeah, exactly.
Eagle, you can look it up. I believe she was relieved.
I think that's what happened, because I saw Rachel Nichols has been removed from ESPN NBA broadcast. Like,
I hate when they do that. It's
crazy.
Technically, she's still with them.
It's so cowardly.
It's
such
stupid,
a cowardly move.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we're canceling these shows and we'll figure something out for you. Then all of a sudden she's like, well, I need to work, so. But she's still contracted, right? So I guess she still gets paid.
She just won't get any of the extras for doing any extra work and all that stuff. And
it's unfortunate. I mean, listen, her comments obviously would nowadays in today's climate, like obviously there's going to be some sort of repercussion based on what she said, but I think she'll still be a job. She'll get a job really quick, I think. Like, I'm not really worried about Rachel.
She has a year, just slightly over a year remaining on her contract.
Yeah, so they figure it'll cost them more to get rid of her, right? Than because between the severance and if she takes them to court or demands that they pay out the contract, like, you might as well just keep her on at that point, right?
Yeah, she's getting paid millions now. She can just go play golf and do whatever the fuck she wants.
That's what I would do. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, so my thoughts are that I don't think it was about the specific comment, except that she bashed Disney. She talked about Disney's, because the comment she said wasn't about, first of all, she was upset she was being replaced because it was a gig that was promised to her, right? So it ostensibly,
which she's clearly qualified for.
Which she's qualified for and has done before. And so the thing is that she heard she was being replaced and had a reaction to that, which I think is a very normal reaction in a very competitive environment like ESPN. She then said, she called out ESPN for having a dismal record on diversity, right? And so it's not her saying you're only replacing me because Maria Taylor's black. You're saying she's only replacing me because you have a bad record on diversity. She's actually making a critique about their record on diversity, which, by the way, traditionally has been true, right? Like, the whole fact of the whole idea that there can only be one woman on a basketball broadcast is part of that problem, right? So,
listen, the thing about ESPN is like they're trying to force it now, right? So like now it's Maria Taylor, right? Then Ariel Helwani, all of a sudden he's gone. They replace him with Ryan Clark, who has no idea anything about fighting, but yet he's on a MMA show.
But the thing is, they also have gotten rid of people who've been like Ariel Helwani's been critical of ESPN, right? And been critical of ESPN's partner in in the UFC.
No, he's not. He never criticizes the UFC.
He did.
He's
Though,
never criticized the UFC. No. He's even Dana White. Like he doesn't really say anything bad about Dana White. Dana White's the one that comes after him all the time. Ariel Helwani is a little weasel. Like I mean, like you can tell. You know what I mean? He's got that vibe. Like I get it. He probably rubs people the wrong way, but he's a professional. And he did certain things that they didn't like, but he's never really said anything bad about ESPN until after he left.
But he did early in his career. He did talk about the whole payment of UFC fighters, and like that's something that clearly Dana White doesn't want. He doesn't want journalists around the sport talking about, right?
So do the fighters say that too, but the fighters are still contracted. Jorge Masvidal is like one of the main people that talk about it.
But they're making him money for now, where Ariel wasn't, right? Ariel was
I get it
at that point, right?
I get it. But
he didn't remove Ariel from the UFC when he was fighting there. So, but the thing is, in this case here, she talked bad about the mouse. She talked bad about Disney, and the only way we hear that clip is if it's leaked by Disney, right? Like we talked about it when we talked about that thing on the show. Like it's not like Maria Taylor's walking by with her cell phone or hiding in a closet like Jay Leno at an NBC meeting, which he actually did. The way these clips come out is they're either leaked by Rachel Nichols' camp or ESPN, because those are the only two people that would have access to that information. And I think in this case specifically, that's a kind of clip that would only ESPN would have access to. I don't even think Rachel Nichols would have access to that archive, essentially, right? It would be like Eagle taking footage and leaking it of you and I talking before the show. That's the only way that information gets out.
You're welcome for not being vindictive.
Thank God, by the way. Holy shit.
Oh man, if Eagle recorded us.
And you would have no idea either, because I have the record button and you can't see it.
Yeah, that's true. We just take it for granted when he says we're off air.
Where are you?
But there's a lot of those tapes out there, and ESPN probably has a lot of people in their pocket because of those tapes.
So I saw it as them wanting to get that contract off the books because they've been clearing house in general of all their more expensive talents, and essentially they had this out and they used that leverage to get to be able to take away all of her stuff. And like we said, she'll eventually leave because of it, right?
Yeah,
because of professional pride. So that said, we do have a lot of stuff to get to. No guests this week, just you and I, Terry. We're going to get through a whole bunch of NFL preseason stuff as well as some stuff in rapid fire. We're going to have someone on for fantasy football next week. So if you're like us who are degenerate fantasy football gamblers, tune in next week as well. But for now, it's time for the news. Terry's the news. Football's around the corner. I'm getting excited. It doesn't feel like football because we're in the middle of this ridiculous heat wave.
I just went I had to go pick up something, and I saw this, and I was like, I got to do it.
You know the internet exists. You don't need magazines.
No, I'm a very manual person.
So it's for masturbation.
Yeah, I'm gonna bust all over Dak Prescott's stats.
I can imagine. He was on track for 7,000 yards before he got injured last year. That's insane.
MVP.
He would have been, absolutely.
He should have been.
Well, yeah, based on how bad Ben DiNucci is, he should have won MVP.
No, it was Andy Dalton.
Or Andy Dalton. Yeah, it's true. Andy Dalton. Ben DiNucci was just those couple of games.
Those ISO routes, though.
Well, no, actually,
I know we talked about this.
McCarthy's playbook has changed. It's in my upcoming article, actually, where I talk about Amari Jones and the Green Bay Packers, whether or not he's worth a late round draft pick in your fantasy drafts. So keep an eye out for that. Trevor Lawrence is going to start, and Justin Fields will not start.
So wait, Gardner Minshew can take a shit now?
Gardner Minshew can finally take a shit. Credit to Alex the intern. That was actually a funny joke. I LOL'd in my office.
Well, Alex didn't say the joke.
He wrote it in our chat.
But it was Gardner Minshew that said the joke.
Yeah. But saying that he can shit again. Permitting Gardner Minshew to take a shit was Alex the intern's privilege.
All right, I'll give him credit today.
So Trevor
That's
Lawrence,
it.
Yeah, that's the last time. Trevor Lawrence was obviously going to start because Gardner Minshew, it looked to be like sort of a guy who was good but not particularly special.
Maybe a Ryan Fitzpatrick style. can lead a team to a 4-13 record.
Who's
maybe?
this?
Minshew.
Minshew, yeah. Well, he's a guy who I think is going to have a very long, successful NFL career. He'll be brought in to start in a couple places. He'll be a backup in other places. I think that's actually a good comp, like not stylistically particularly, but like in terms of career path, Terry. That's actually a good comp. I like that. But Trevor Lawrence, we all expect to be special. Although the offensive line is terrible, Travis Etienne getting injured for the year will not help him. And it's a solid receiving group, but again, with no time in the pocket, we knew Trevor Lawrence was going to start from week 1 because he was the first overall pick, and you're not going to waste time. But at the same time, not a particularly great situation started, right?
No, I mean, listen,
it's a bad team.
It's not a great team at all. And that division is garbage. So just the fact that they would have had Travis Etienne, it would have given them a bump over at least the Texans. Texans are the worst franchise.
I forgot they were in the NFL.
Yeah, there you go.
I forgot. I legitimately, other than once in a while where like a Deshaun Watson story comes up and we got to talk about it, I forget.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm doing like mock drafts for fantasy, and I'm like, Brandon Cooks. Oh my God, Brandon Cooks is still in the league. Okay, good.
I'm not like, I don't think any of those teams other than the Titans will, because they're in that division, they're pretty much guaranteed 6 wins.
Yeah.
They just need to get a 5 somewhere else and they're good.
Yeah, I think so as well. Justin Fields is not going to be starting despite how good he looked in the preseason. I thought he looked great. The main thing for me when I see quarterbacks not starting when they're drafted in the first round, I see it as a loss of time. You have basically 3 seasons to decide whether or not you're going to plan to keep these players and sign the extension after the 4th year or not. You need to start making your plans after 3 years. So you're limiting the amount of time you can gather information.
Yeah.
And when people say, well, but you don't want to ruin him. If he's going to get ruined and shook in his first 6 games, he's not the guy anyway. You know what I mean? So that should give you information even before the 3-year threshold, you know?
I mean, listen, why bring back Mitch Trubisky at that point?
Yeah.
I think Mitch Trubisky is a fine.
I don't know why it was that. They for the money they had to, because they would have had to extend him to keep him, and it would have cost them more than the $10 million they got Andy Dalton. I actually read about that this morning. That's why they did that. But I don't understand why not just let Fields start. Like, Andy Dalton is a backup quarterback at this point in his career.
Best backup quarterback in the league.
Yeah.
Probably.
We saw it last year. He kept Dallas afloat for most of the season, right?
For a while, at least he finished that game. The one that Dak got injured, they won tight game. They won a couple other ones, but it was a close season for them.
He got hurt a couple times too.
I'm not opposed to Justin Fields not starting for like the first few games, just to kind of maybe learn the offense a little bit better. But he looked good in preseason. Like, I think so. Like, from what I saw, I'm not completely against Justin Fields not being the starter right away. I think that Andy Dalton's the perfect guy for him to start, and then Justin Fields come in maybe like week 6, 7, 8, if he's progressing and if Andy Dalton's really shitting the bed. Because that division, it's a toss up, man. It's like, are you gonna let your future basically just get destroyed in the first 6 games? Because regardless of if he looks good or not, he's gonna get hit a few times, and he got hit in preseason, like hard.
Yeah, and he said it didn't hurt, and he said the game was moving slower than thought.
Yeah, he said everything was pretty slow, and then
what did you feel about those comments? I thought it was kind of cute. I kind of like when quarterbacks say something. At the same time, it's like, it's also preseason, guy. Like, make that comment in week 1 if you want to make a statement, right?
Yeah, exactly. The thing is that he has to say that. If he acts anything other than confident in a city like Chicago, he's gonna get roasted.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know what I mean?
As long as he's not seeing ghosts, right?
That's a good point.
The Pats are essentially frustrated with a source inside of the Patriots organization said that the Patriots have been frustrated with the Cam Newton situation, with the COVID protocol, because again, Cam is one of the players who's not vaccinated, so he needs to go into the protocol for likely 5, but up to 10 days. And they say that this insider said, this opens the door definitely for Mac Jones to take the start. And I want to know, why did Bill Belichick leak this? Because obviously it's him.
Who leaked this? Because why? And why did Bill Belichick do it?
Yeah.
I
Who leaked
mean,
it and why was it Bill Belichick?
he has to do this because now Cam's gonna have to either step up or step up.
Yeah. He looked good
You know?
in apparently like he was back in camp today. And
Yeah,
apparently
I mean,
he looked really good in drills.
I like Mac Jones. I think Mac Jones is, he has a future in the NFL for sure. He's a good player, but I'm just not off Cam Newton yet. I think
I
that
agree.
last year wasn't a good sample size. Not that it wasn't a good sample size. It just wasn't a good enough sample to judge. I think that now this season is the year for Cam Newton. Obviously, if he plays 3-4 games and he's not throwing over 250, 280, 300, then yeah, then you have to look at Mac Jones.
Well,
100%.
I have a hot take here. After Brady left and Newton came in, they had basically threw out their old playbook. They rebuilt it, right? It's a lot of running plays. It's a lot of quarterback keeps. It's a lot of, like the jet sweeps type of stuff, a lot of handoffs. Very little throwing, admittedly, right? Like
Yeah.
Cam can throw,
They're
but
one of the run heaviest teams in the league last year.
exactly. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to say they rebuilt their entire roster, but the emphasis was definitely shifted towards linemen, running backs, tight ends, those types of packages essentially. So they're very weak at wide receiver now. And they've always kind of been right Jim Rat style, the next guy up, the next Welker, Edelman, etc. Mac Jones does not play in that system. He is, I'll call it a proverbial Tom Brady on paper, right? He had 35 rushing attempts in 2020 and 4,500 yards throwing in 13 games played, right?
Yeah.
Well, listen,
so he is much more the passing quarterback. So if you put Mac Jones in that system, you're not getting any value from him at this point. So I don't see
Also-
the point of burning a year, potentially getting him hurt. And if you have Newton to run in that system, spend the time to rebuild, shift your roster away in a different direction, and kind of burn this year on development for Mac Jones.
No team spent more money on free agents than the New England Patriots. They brought in Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith, and the last time they had two tight ends of excellent caliber, that offense was deadly.
True.
And so I think it's going to be
Hunter
different.
Henry's been injured, no?
Sorry.
Hunter Henry's been injured, right?
He's always kind of injured, but that's why you also still have Jonnu Smith, who is probably one of the best athletes in the NFL.
Stephen A. Smith saying that Hunter Henry didn't look good this season
when he wasn't playing.
when he wasn't playing at all.
Let's also not forget they have Brian Hoyer on the roster, right?
Yeah,
so
so
there's
that
always
too.
an option too.
He might win out.
No, but the thing is, Eagle, your point about Mac Jones only running 35 times, you're playing for Alabama. Everybody's open.
Yeah.
You don't have to throw. You don't have to run.
But can he run is the other question. Do you want him to run?
Well, no.
I don't think he's a runner, but
He's
listen,
not.
he doesn't have to.
So I have a hot take too. Mac Jones is Sam Bradford.
Yeah, I can see it.
He's gonna be fine. He's gonna be okay. He's gonna be very accurate and not special. He's just gonna take safe throws. And he just will never evolve into anything. Like Kirk Cousins is that to me. He just, to me, that's what he looks like. I don't understand why people fell in love with him right around draft time. Maybe because at the combine, his physical ability to throw the ball is impressive, but playing quarterback, we all know, is a lot more than that. I think he's just going to be a regular guy, and you'll see why, as great a coach as Bill Belichick is, and he's going to maximize that the same way, for example, Andy Reid did with Alex
Mahomes.
Smith. But I think that you will see why it was that he was so special while he had Tom Brady versus having a guy who's just good, I know my hot take is a first round quarterback is okay. He's good.
My hot take is that Tom Brady isn't like in terms of talent, like pure football talent, like arm strength, all that stuff. He's not much better than Sam Bradford.
I'll agree with that. But
Yeah.
the difference is his brain, is his ability,
Sure.
his athletic intelligence is.
But my point is that
second to none.
if Tom Brady is Sam Bradford and Sam Bradford is Mac Jones, then Mac Jones, if let's say all these people that are right about Bill Belichick saying he's the reason why everybody's won, right? Let's say that he's the reason why they won their first 5. 6?
6.
He has
Six.
6 plus 1.
He's the reason why they won 6 Super Bowls. If he can turn Mac Jones into a Super Bowl contender within the first 3 years, then I'm going to say it's Bill Belichick.
I think that undersells how great Brady is.
He's too good. I agree.
Like
And the fact that he's doing
it's
it at
7
this
Super Bowls. Like
age-
at this point, there's no arguments, right? Like it's
Yeah.
7 Super Bowls. Like
The guy's
it
been able to
very
do it at
clearly
this
was
age.
No, 7 Super Bowl wins, 9 Super Bowls.
Yeah, exactly.
Or 10.
Oh yeah, but don't forget we hold it against people when they get to the Super Bowl.
10, actually.
Like LeBron going to the finals is not okay if he doesn't win. So the years Jordan didn't go, that doesn't count. But the years that LeBron didn't go, the years LeBron went and lost, that counts.
Exactly.
So while we talk about Travis Etienne getting injured, Patriots actually made a move. Sony Michel, who obviously Georgia running back, so I'm a huge fan, thought he didn't get many opportunities last year and was a little banged up. He goes to the Rams, who, as I was doing my fantasy analysis, Terry, do you know which team ran the most often in the red zone last year?
The Cowboys?
The Rams. The Rams were the run heaviest team in the red zone last year. And we saw that's when Cam Akers came in at the end of the season. He took off. Fantasy players obviously know that because if you happen to have him stashed on your roster, you had a very good chance of
I
winning
dropped
championship at the end of
him.
the
I
year.
dropped him like the week before he blew up.
I dropped him in another league, so don't worry about it. Everyone did.
So what you're saying is the Rams can run their 11 offense, except that Sean McVay doesn't need to, whisper into the headset every time for Stafford to execute the plays.
Well, I think the Rams are going to be pretty good because of that. Because Matthew Stafford's a really talented NFL quarterback.
Yeah.
I think from a
He
talent
doesn't need a
perspective,
crib sheet in his ear every 15 seconds.
he's
Yeah.
much better than they had with Jared Goff, who I think is fine, but just not the same level as Matthew Stafford. And they add Sony Michel, who I think, if healthy, can be. I know whenever you start a sentence with "if healthy," that's obviously a huge question mark, but I think that adds a lot of dynamism to an offense that was relying on the running back who was never like a number one guy.
Well, they still have Damian Harris and James White.
No, but I'm talking about the Rams.
Oh,
The
yeah,
Rams
yeah,
adding
yeah.
him is a big deal. I also like that trade. I saw the responses from both fan bases, and it made me realize how irrational fan bases are. And there's two other things that like I wanted to talk about when it comes to irrational fan bases. The Tua hive on Twitter is insane. Anybody who's this much critical of Tua, even if they say like he's good, but we just don't know if he's as special as Justin Herbert, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's not negative. That's saying this guy's good, but the other guy looked more exceptional last season, which is
He's just not as
arguable.
good as a rookie who threw for 5,000 yards. Like,
Yeah, which is it's okay. You know what I mean? Like it's fine if he ends up being Matt Ryan, I'll be happy. Given what we've seen,
But I was gonna say that's the problem. The Dolphins fan base is on like hardcore hopium, right? Because it's been like 2 decades since you have someone decent, and now you have them, and you want to bubble boy that man and not ruin like any type of ego that goes to his head that may actually drive him to win, right? It's like no, we must protect him at all costs. He is the holy grail.
I thought it was intense. Like, you might have had that too, Terry, when Tony Romo was being replaced by Dak. Like,
Yeah.
how Cowboys Twitter reacted.
Oh, yeah. Tony, you can't say anything bad about Tony Romo.
You know that I'm actually like a huge Romo fan. Like, I
Yeah,
actually
yeah, I
thought
know.
he didn't get a fair shake as a talent.
Listen, is Romo a Hall of Famer? No, I don't think so. But like, you can make a case for it. You can make a case for it.
I mean, he had to spend his entire career playing against the juggernaut and Eli Manning and the Giants. So
Yeah, that's true. So
And those tough defenses, Eagles defenses. And don't get me started on the football team.
separately from that, another reaction was in Cristiano Ronaldo announcing that he'll be leaving Juventus, and it's all but said and done that he'll be joining Manchester City. The bile that he's catching for announcing this at the end of the transfer window is insane. Like,
Yeah.
this is a man's career. We don't know what's happening behind the scenes. He doesn't owe anything to the organization beyond what he's already done. There's been some stuff about Juventus in the last couple of years that have been people haven't seemed entirely happy while being there, so I can see it. But I thought the bile was pretty extreme to a guy who just wanted to change team. I didn't think we were still there 2021 criticizing guys for wanting to change team.
The thing about Ronaldo is that he gave hope to an Italian division. The Italian division is pretty boring. Like, no stars go there anymore. It's not like a place where stars go. Like, Juventus might be a team there where people like to go to, but like Ronaldo, like he went there and now that he's leaving, they're like, oh, what do we do now? Who's next? Like, there's nobody next because they're all going to English Premier League, where the best league is. Mbappe could be an option, but Mbappe is linked to like every team in the world. Like everybody wants him. He's 21 years old and he's one of the best players in the world. Like Mbappe is going to get signed anywhere he wants. He doesn't have to go to Italy. And why would he go to Italy? Like there's nothing there for him.
Mbappe reminds me of every time Kevin Durant's a free agent and there's 7 teams saying that they're going to sign Kevin Durant at the end of the season.
It's
right?
exactly the same thing.
And
Ronaldo's
I was
LeBron,
just shocked. I was just shocked to see that. Even more shocking, and of course, this one's a little more tragic. NHL player Jimmy Hayes passed away, 31 years old, which for a bunch of guys who are older than that on this show, that's a pretty terrifying feeling. According Alex the intern, of course, speculated recklessly that it was due to alcohol consumption. Yet I immediately went to sources I trust, like The Athletic, like the Associated Press, ESPN. All of them said sources unknown. And up to the filming of this show, they still don't know what caused the source of death.
People are saying because of the vaccine. Like
that's so many things. The politicization of someone's death and making it about an illness or vaccine without having any information to back that up, to me, is the grossest thing in the world. Like you're making someone's death
family
about
hasn't
your own
even
politics.
He's not even in the ground yet. The family hasn't even been able to mourn yet. They just found out the news, and all of a sudden, all over the news is that it's all because he took the second vaccine, and this is why you shouldn't take the vaccine. Like it's so fucking stupid, man. It's so stupid.
I never thought. I before all this, I never thought we'd be at a point of the politicization of medicine in the first place. I never thought we would politicize human life. That's a terrifying feeling to me. It was disgusting. I know it's Twitter. I know people are their worst selves on Twitter. I couldn't ever bring myself to type that into form, basically, because that thought would never cross my mind without having information.
I think I'm going to take a brand new strategy for this stuff where, you know how like all these negative things are like associated with the vaccine suddenly by the conspiracy theorists? I'm going to start taking things that happen to me on a regular basis or positive things and attribute it to the vaccine. Like, wow, my omelet was so tasty this morning. Thank God I got the vaccine, right? And it enhanced my taste buds.
Found a quarter. Vaccine number 2. Fuck yes. Or, hey, this new IPA is delicious. Vaccine 2. It made my taste buds better.
Wow, my 5G signal's amazing. Oh, wait, not that one.
No.
Listen, if you don't want to get the vaccine and you're against the passport, I understand. But like when people just get the vaccine because they feel like that's what they need to do, then just shut your mouth. That's it.
Well, that's a whole thing too. The argument of, I should be allowed to do what I want to do. You're stupid for taking the vaccine. It's like, whoa, don't you realize that
you're all sheep. You're all sheep.
Why don't you watch the same YouTube video that tells all of us that believe that the vaccine kills people? Like, it's the same argument. You're making the same argument on the opposite side.
R.I.P. to Jimmy Hayes and his family. Well,
and that's the thing. Like, it doesn't matter how he died. He died. The family isn't even in. Like, they don't have to give us the reasons of death. They don't need to make that public. He died. It's tragic. And we hope all the best for his family and for whoever survives him in terms of friends and teammates and just people who knew him.
His brother, Kevin Hayes.
Yeah, it's true. That's true.
Superstar for the Flyers.
Yeah. We're going to get to rapid fire in a second, but before we do, Terry, you and I, as being the last 2 baseball fans on earth, I believe, Miguel Cabrera hits 500 home runs. I have some interesting stats about this. One is Miguel Cabrera has hit 500 home runs. Actually, no. Let's watch the 500th home run and enjoy that before we get into some of the information around it.
How old is he?
The 1-1. Deep fly ball. Right center field. That's got carry. It's gone! Number 500 and history for Miguel Cabrera.
He's 38, Terry.
He started
That's
at 19.
Crazy.
He started at 19, which is why we think he's older than he is.
When did he sign his 10-year contract?
It was probably in his mid-20s.
Because he signed it. No, it was in his 30s. He signed a 10-year contract for $209 million.
He said he's playing 2 more years, so he might have signed it when he turned 30.
Yeah, okay, that's what it is. So good on him, man. You know what? And like he's one of the best. There's crazy stat lines about him.
So, he's hit 500 home runs, and has a career average of over 300. Can you list the other players who have done that?
Career average over 300, 500 runs, and that's it?
Yeah, those two things.
Career average over... There's no way Barry Bonds had over 300. He was a power hitter.
Especially early on. Early on, he wasn't hitting...
There's Derek Jeter. Ripken didn't have 500 home runs.
Correct.
Man, like what? We're talking old people then.
We are. I like the way you're reasoning this out. It's pretty good. You're actually pretty good at this.
In 2014, he signed an 8-year contract extension to make, on top of the 2 years he already had left, to make it a 10-year contract for $292 million essentially. So he signed until 2024.
Yeah, which is a small contract now.
It's true.
So Hank Aaron has, I guess, Hank Aaron.
So the entire list is Ted Williams, and list is complete. It's Ted Williams and Miguel Cabrera. That's the caliber of player we're discussing. Like that's amazing, right? Like
I
remember
fact that nobody's done it. Like people are gonna say, "Oh, Ted Williams played in an era where like it was easy to hit or all this shit," but
nobody else did
done it since. Nobody's done it
since, and nobody did before. So it's still special. You know what I mean? And there's some other stats that tie him. I don't remember the stats exactly. It tied him to this is the company. It was like Babe Ruth, Ted Williams, Hank Aaron, and Ricky Henderson, and him.
So it's
like,
3,000 hits.
Yeah, it was something to do with 3,000 hits for sure, and the power and probably stolen bases as well. Miguel Cabrera, I remember that Marlins World Series where he was like a baby, just a baby hitting bombs late in that season and in that World Series. So it's cool to see it at 500. To go opposite field at 38 is pretty impressive for your 500th home run. It was a really good feel-good moment seeing it. The other thing, so because of the stats that I was looking up, it got me looking at Ricky Henderson's stats. We don't realize how great Ricky Henderson was.
Oh, he was fantastic.
He's the only player to have stolen over 1,000 bases. He stole 1,400. So he's the only one to reach over 1,000. And he stole 1,400.
So he's right. He is the greatest of all time.
Yeah. I'd be okay saying it. The other thing is, Terry, you'd consider 21 stolen bases a good season, right?
Oh yeah.
How many seasons of 21 stolen bases do you think? How many years would it take for you to catch Ricky Henderson? Of 21 stolen bases.
50 seasons.
66 seasons.
I was thinking 1,000. I
think it was like the average, like an average, whatever the category was, it was like average stolen bases. Like I think like for like the top X amount of players was like 21, and so like that's great. You have to do that for 66 years to be Ricky Henderson. You know what I mean?
He's been grading on a curve, and he's bringing everybody else up with him. Like he's making stolen bases look easy.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, it was a nice moment. But let's get into rapid fire. We have no interview this week. Before we get to rapid fire, actually, Terry, let us know who the show is brought to us by.
Did you bet on him hitting that 500 career home run in that game?
I didn't.
I definitely did not bet on Miggy Cabrera. I won a bet on that game, but it wasn't through Hot Streak. Should have. But Hot Streak Fantasy, if I had done it, I would have won $125 off of $5 because that's what Hot Streak does. They just give you great odds. Yeah. When you go on the website, it's iOS only. Download the app. Use Hot Sauce on your initial deposit. They'll match it as a bonus. I'll match it as a bonus, and that's pretty much it. Like it's the best fucking app on if you want to bet in play quick every X amount of time, every at bat, whatever it is, Hot Streak is the way to go. Hot Sauce promo code, and they'll match your initial deposit as a bonus.
Look, and by now, if you play fantasy baseball, your season's probably ruined because fantasy baseball it's so hard. It's so hard to win. The season's so long. There's so many variables. This is a great way to keep invested into fantasy. It's in play. It's a daily game. It's 3 minutes at a time. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoy it.
All right. let's get into our rapid fire topics. We got 6 of them today, starting with A New Hope. A judge has ruled that Evander Kane must face discovery as he's being sued for $2 million in payments as stipulated in a pay arrangement for an abortion with his ex, Hope Parker. So basically, he told her he was going to pay her $2 million if she got an abortion. She got one, and then she didn't get a check.
Yeah, because he has no money because he's bankrupt.
Well, did they sign a contract or something? Like, are you allowed to do that?
I don't know. Like, man, we live in a very different country.
Listen,
the things that are legal in certain states and versus where we live is very different.
So you don't necessarily need a contract.
Yeah,
you either need a verbal agreement, which is confirmed by both parties. Now, obviously, he said, she said, that might be a little bit tricky. Or if there's a third party there who can confirm it.
Or if there's text messages, emails.
Text messages are going to be included for sure.
Yeah, all of these things, again, that's what discovery is, right? Like they're trying to get all access to all of his information to see whether or not he agreed to these terms. Man,
Evander Kane is probably the biggest scumbag of all time. If you're dating, like, her first mistake was dating Evander Kane.
Yeah.
Her second mistake was trusting Evander Kane. Like, that's basically
absolutely.
It. Yeah.
But you know what? The thing is like, if you're Evander Kane, you know it's cheaper than a $2 million payout. Condoms, they're significantly cheaper. Also, a child, I think, is cheaper than $2 million. Having the kid would actually cost you less money.
Child support payments.
That's true. Given his salary, given his
also the pull-out method is flawless and it's free.
I wouldn't say flawless.
I had a very different thing. When you're like, what's cheaper? I'm like, staircases. Oof. And with that, we're going to go to topic number 2 because it actually does have staircases involved. Milking It. ESPN Stephen A. Smith guest hosted the Jimmy Kimmel Show this week, and he's been talking about a certain viral trend that's going on TikTok right now.
Here's another crazy thing going on with Americans right now. It's called the Milk Crate Challenge. And I'm going to tell y'all something. I challenge anybody on earth, anybody, to find people dumber than these people.
He got it too.
Our milk crates.
Have you seen these things?
I saw a couple, yeah. Oh, what an asshole. What an asshole, that guy.
Is that Alex the intern?
Nope. Man, a guy that big should not be doing this challenge.
What is wrong with these
stacked
people?
up like 10 crates.
First, you drink the milk from the crates to get strong bones. Then you fall off the crates to break them. We're all so worried about COVID, but TikTok is what's going to kill us. Can you imagine that eulogy? Just take a moment. Could you imagine this eulogy? He died doing what he loved, acting like a total dummy.
Okay.
Hey, I'm sorry.
What's
your cousin
worse?
died
What's worse
falling
than these?
Off that milk crate. That's okay though. He got 2 million likes.
What's worse than these milk crate challenges is Stephen A. Smith reading scripted jokes.
It's so we take for granted how hard that job is, right? Like
It's
Jimmy
tough,
Kimmel, Trevor Noah, all those guys. Those guys are all accomplished stand-up comedians whose comedic timing is amongst the best in the world, right?
Yeah.
So like Stephen A. Smith, I'm sure the interview part of the job he's great at, and he's got charisma, but it's such a hard task to go up there and deliver.
You're standing up there alone, reading a fucking teleprompter, you're trying to get timing. You know what I mean? Like with no practice, like it's tough. It's tough.
And again, like we're always going to compare him to legitimate comedians. Like it reminds me of Mike Schur who created The Office, co-created The Office, created Parks and Rec. He was from Saturday Night Live. And he said that early on he was getting like really anxious because he's like, I can't write anything as good as Adam McKay. And everyone looked around and was like, dude, like you're comparing yourself to like a legend in this industry. Relax. Yeah. You'll write something good. Don't worry. You know what I mean? So like Stephen A. Smith, maybe he would get better, but obviously off the bat,
it's like us complaining that we don't have 1 billion downloads like Joe Rogan, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Road to the show. Shohei Ohtani signed autographs I try.
Only the best baseball player in the world. Since Babe Ruth, maybe.
Look, I'm American. I don't relate to him very well.
Yeah, thank you, Stephen A. Smith.
He signed autographs for kids while snubbing some fans, and it was caught on film. I love this, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, if you're a 40-year-old man looking for an autograph, go for it.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. I was gonna get the kids first.
I'm gonna try to get in.
Get in there,
The thing about stuff, like
Everyone but the adults.
Yeah.
good for Ohtani, man. Like it's good. You never see guys like this. Like even DeMarcus Lawrence did it last year. Like he refused to sign some like a guy like opened a binder and it has like his picture everywhere. And he's like, "Oh, can you sign these?" And DeMarcus Lawrence is like, "No, I'm not signing that shit." And like some guys do it because they want them to make money, and it's fine. Like Conor McGregor is like, yeah, Conor McGregor is like, yeah, if they can make money off me, whatever, let them make money. But like at the end of the day, you're getting this for free. You know what I mean? Why should you be making $500 off of my name and I don't see a penny of it? So I can see both angles.
I think it's definitely sweet to do it for the kids because the kids are legitimately going to enjoy that. I've said before on the show, my prized possession is my parents got a ball autographed by the 1982 Expos that's still in my home office.
I have Felipe Alou balls.
That's pretty awesome.
My uncle with his barber. So
that's what I'm saying. Like when you're a kid, like you really do appreciate it. The adults are doing it as collectors and trying to resell it. It is cool that the Instagram hasn't replaced the autograph completely. Do love that kids are still getting autographs. So it was cool to see. So yeah, fuck the adults. You're not gonna enjoy it anyway. So
all right. Next, there's always money in the banana stand. Kentucky Wildcats quarterback Will Levis. I like Levis.
You got to find the clip though, Eagle. I forgot to include it.
Oh my God! He posted a viral video of him eating a banana in a weird way. Hold on, I gotta find it.
Yeah, I saw it. It's weird, man. Have you ever? And it was like a bruised banana. It wasn't like
you could only do it if it's bruised.
Huh?
I think you can only do it if it's bruised.
Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna find it.
Is it Will Levy or Will Levi?
I think it's Levy.
Levy? But
yeah.
So are they Levy jeans?
No, that's
Levi. It's Levi apostrophe S.
Yeah.
I see.
I think it's Levy.
So this banana would be Levi's banana.
Levi's banana, yeah. No, Levy's banana. Levy's is banana.
Levy's is.
Video on TikTok. It's of him eating a banana, but you'll see he just puts the whole thing in his mouth, peel and all. And his caption says, "I don't fear the brown spots, they fear me." And as you can see, there are plenty of brown spots on that way too ripe banana. This has the whole internet going crazy. Most people think he's crazy for eating his banana that way.
And there you go.
So first of all, you can only get away with that if you look that good, right?
Did you know that? Yeah, that's true. Did you know that bananas, you're not supposed to peel from the stem. You're supposed to peel from the other side? I didn't know that.
Primates peel it from the bottom.
Yeah, now I know, but like, it's weird, no?
Yeah, it's
the stem is like
I was just gonna say, Terry, you're dumber than primates. Maybe that writer, that viewer was right.
Maybe I am. No,
I have no patience for it because I always smash the top. So what I do now is I just take a knife, I cut it in half, and peel it.
Oh, okay. But the stem is like an invitation to rip off.
It is. It's asking for it. The thing is, like, so I saw this. I was like, this guy's obviously handsome, and that's the only reason he can get away with eating a banana that way. Yeah. But then I realized when I see brown bananas, first thing I think of is banana cake, and that's why I don't look like that guy.
Banana cake is great.
Delicious.
All right.
Or banana bread, whatever. It's a fucking cake.
Next one. To a time, Adam Schefter and Field Yates were sent a letter by a fan that took them to task regarding the pronunciation of how the actual quarterback's name is written. I'm going to get it on screen, the letter. Thank you.
And it wasn't.
For those listening, I'm smiling aggressively towards Eagle because I forgot to include it again in the chat.
Yeah, it might be a little bit tricky to read, but basically it says... let me get this out of the way here. It says,
Hello, gentlemen.
Hello, gentlemen. I have been a fan of both of your works on the various shows on the ESPN platforms. You both do great work, and I appreciate it. Now, for informational purposes, I am a retired radio/TV announcer, a commercial voice, and voiceover artist. So I know how to pronounce the words. The problem is, you don't! And I'm screaming because it's in caps. You regularly and routinely fuck up the name of the Miami quarterback. His name is Tua Tagovailoa. Tua tag o viloa. Yet you two assholes regularly and continuously mispronounce it when you say Tua Tango Viloa. There's no tango in his name.
Takes two to tango. Takes
And
two at a
tell that
tango.
asshole Greeny as well. He's not worth a letter. Continued success signed by this guy.
Jesus. I've never been that mad about someone else's name before. I don't know. Look, it's a tough name to pronounce, guys. Like if you think that's bad, you should hear Phil Yates pronounce the football team in Cincinnati. He calls them the Bengals. Every time I see his clips when he's talking about like T. Higgins or Tyler Boyd.
Bengals is like when people like Americans, they say Vegas. They don't say Vegas. They say Vegas. It's like a weird accent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what Soho stands for in New York?
Soho?
Yeah.
Isn't it south of Harlem something? No, it can't be south of Harlem. It's on the other side. What does Soho stand for?
South of Houston Street. Houston is pronounced. It's spelled Houston, by the way. It's Houston Street, but apparently it's. I just, by the way, Siri for some reason took that conversation and sent it to my brother-in-law for reasons I don't understand. Thank you, Siri.
Also,
being terrible.
Tango, like it's not even that big of a mistake to be called assholes.
Yeah, and like, what?
And
why was Greeny catching strays? What did Greeny do? Greeny just looks like a nice guy.
Also, Eagle mispronounced it while he's reading the letter. It's Vilo and not Vilo.
Whatever. And our last one for
Last
today.
Tango Paris.
Yeah.
Space measuring contest. The model rocket maker Estes. What?
Estes.
I forgot to include the picture.
I have
again.
it.
Thank you.
Have announced that they're going to be selling a scale model of Jeff Bezos' rocket, which, if you remember, looks like a dick. Looks like this. Can you guess the price of this particular rocket? $69.
Nice.
Oh.
Nice. So you want to buy a dick?
Well, so like,
Shoot it into space?
I mean, look, he's
Good old
single.
69.
He's single right now, right? Like he's no longer married. It could be a thoughtful gift. I've made a mold for my wife before. Same thing.
You did?
No, I haven't. I was just going for the joke.
That's a great gift, though.
Either way, it would have been a lot smaller than this.
I was
You
going to say
also
attach
saved
it
a
to
lot
an
of money
AC
on the
plug. You got
plastic.
yourself a Hitachi in the shape of a rocket.
There we go.
Peas, you would have also saved a lot of money on the plaster, because you don't have to use that much.
Yeah, it would have cost a lot less than $69. It would have been $6 or $9.
6 or 9.
Yeah.
Imagine the guy's like, I'll pay 9.
Actually, I was like, you know what? Can you scale it up a bit? I'll pay the 9. I'll pay the 9.
I'll pay the 9.
Just make it a little bit bigger.
10. Round it up to 10. I don't need to change, and you throw $10 at him.
Yeah, and that's it.
That's it, boys.
So, I just want to talk to the viewers really quick. Thank you for tuning in today. Thank you for tuning in all the time. We really enjoy it. This is a lot of fun for us. We do a lot of work at Hot Sauce Sports, but the thing that we all consider the least amount of work is actually doing the show. It's a lot of fun. We have a great time together. I want to thank everyone for listening. Thank everyone who has subscribed. If you haven't, Eagle will find you. He will force you to take horse deworming medicine.
Yeah.
He will force you to ingest it. And then you'll be like, man, I'm now in the hospital. I don't have any horse worms. I never would have, but I could have subscribed. I could have. You don't want to be in that position.
Or you might have a horse worm, and Eagle just might have saved your life. And then now you have to subscribe.
And now you have to. You owe us. You owe us because we saved your life.
I mean, also, if you are taking horse worm medication and everything, you're likely going to die. So make sure, in terms of like the last things you tell people to do, besides clear your browser history, is like, comment, and subscribe on our videos.
So I saw the FDA tweet, and it said, you are not a horse, you're not a cow. Please take human medication. And then when I saw you're not a cow, I was under the influence, and the first thing that came to my mind was Brovine. Thank you, Terry. Thank you, Eagle. And thank you all for letting me be myself. You've been listening to Hot Sauce Sports.